A software automation architect plays a crucial role in defining, designing, and implementing test automation strategies throughout the software development lifecycle, SDLC. The architect ensures that the automation frameworks are scalable, efficient, and aligned with the overall project goals. Here's how an automation architect might deal with a project from start to finish. 1. Project inception and requirements gathering. Understanding the project scope, objective. Gain a deep understanding of the project, including its goals, features, and technological stack. Actions. Meet with stakeholders, product owners, developers, QA teams, to gather detailed functional and non-functional requirements. Identify critical components for automation, e.g., core features, repetitive tasks, regression suites. Understand the user journey, business requirements, and potential risks. Artifacts, requirement specification documents. Business workflows or user stories. B. Feasibility study for automation, objective. Evaluate which parts of the application are suitable for automation. Actions. Perform a feasibility analysis to assess the complexity, stability, and frequency of test cases. Identify areas where automation will bring the most ROI, e.g., regression testing, performance testing, repetitive scenarios. Determine if automation is viable in areas like UI, APIs, databases, or performance. Artifacts. Feasibility report for automation. 2. Planning and strategy development. A. Test automation strategy, objective. Define a comprehensive automation strategy that aligns with project goals. Actions. Decide on the type of tests to automate, unit, integration, functional, UI, API, and performance tests. Prioritize test cases that need to be automated based on factors like business critical paths, regression potential, and complexity. Ensure alignment with the development methodology, e.g., Agile, Waterfall, DevOps. Artifacts. A well-defined test automation strategy document covering test levels, scope, tools, and team responsibilities. B. Tool selection, objective. Select the right tools for automation, considering the project's tech stack. Actions. Evaluate open source and commercial tools based on compatibility with the application's technology, e.g., Selenium, Appium, Cypress, TestNG, JUnit, Postman, etc. Consider CI/CD integration, reporting capabilities, and ease of use. Choose tools for specific testing needs, API testing, performance testing, UI testing, mobile testing, etc. Artifacts. Automation tool comparison matrix. Finalize tool selection documentation. C. Defining automation framework architecture, objective. Design a flexible, maintainable, and scalable test automation framework. Actions. Choose the type of framework to implement, data-driven, keyword-driven, hybrid, or behavior-driven, BDD using Cucumber or SpecFlow. Design a framework that allows easy addition of new tests, supports different environments, and can generate detailed reports. Ensure the framework supports parallel execution and is CI/CD compatible for continuous testing. Define naming conventions, file structures, test data management, and environment configurations. Artifacts. Automation framework design documents. Flowcharts and diagrams of the framework architecture. 3. Initial setup and development. A. Infrastructure and environment setup, objective. Set up the infrastructure needed for automation execution. Actions. Set up the necessary hardware and software environments. Configure virtual machines or containers, e.g., Docker, for parallel test execution across multiple environments. Establish cloud-based environments, if necessary, e.g., Sauce Labs, Browser Stack, AWS. Configure test environments to mirror production settings as closely as possible. Artifacts. Environment setup documentation. Configurations for VMs, containers, or cloud environments. B. Automation framework implementation, objective. Implement the design framework and ensure it meets project requirements. Actions. Develop and implement the skeleton of the automation framework. Set up version control for the automation code, e.g., Git, and define branching strategies. Integrate third-party libraries or plugins that are necessary, e.g., Allure for reporting, Rest Assured for API testing. Integrate the framework with CI/CD pipelines, e.g., Jenkins, GitLab CI, Circle CI, for continuous integration and delivery. Develop reusable components, e.g., base classes, helper functions, test data generators. Artifacts. Version-controlled automation framework with initial test cases. CI/CD pipeline integration scripts. C. Collaboration and communication, objective. Ensure alignment between the automation team and the development, testing, and operations teams. Actions. Hold regular meetings with developers to ensure that test automation aligns with the ongoing development process, especially in Agile or DevOps environments. Provide training or guidance to QA members for using the automation framework. Collaborate with DevOps teams to ensure smooth CI/CD integration. Artifacts. Communication logs and meeting minutes. Training materials or documentation for team members. 4. Test case development and execution. A. Automating high-priority test cases, objective. Start by automating high-priority, frequently executed, and stable test cases. Actions. Develop automated scripts for high-priority test cases, focusing on areas that are prone to frequent regression. Ensure scripts are modular and reusable to minimize code duplication. Use version control and code reviews to ensure code quality and adherence to standards. Artifacts, automated test scripts for key business flows. B. Regression test automation. Objective, build a comprehensive regression suite. Actions, add existing manual test cases that are good candidates for automation to the regression test suite. Automate edge cases, boundary conditions, and stress tests. Ensure the suite is maintained and updated as new features or changes are introduced. Artifacts, automated regression test suite. Test case repository, automated. C. Test data management. Objective, ensure proper management of test data for consistent test execution. Actions, develop strategies for managing test data, including dynamic data generation or usage of external data sources, e.g., databases, spreadsheets, APIs. Implement test data versioning to ensure consistency between different test environments. Artifacts, test data management documentation. Test data generation scripts or configurations. D. Continuous testing via CI/CD. Objective, ensure that automation is part of the CI/CD pipeline for continuous feedback. Actions, ensure the automated test suite runs after every code commit. Implement triggers in the CI pipeline that run the automated tests for different stages, e.g., nightly builds, regression testing. Generate reports and dashboards that provide real-time feedback on test execution and results. Artifacts, CI/CD configuration for automated testing. Test execution reports and dashboards. 5. Monitoring, reporting, and optimization. A. Test execution monitoring. Objective, monitor the performance and stability of the automated test suite. Actions, set up dashboards, e.g., Jenkins, TestRail, Allure, to track test execution status, test failures, and key metrics like test duration and pass/fail rate. Monitor test stability to ensure that tests are deterministic, i.e., no flakiness or false positives/negatives. Identify bottlenecks in test execution, such as slow-running tests, and optimize accordingly. Artifacts, monitoring dashboards for test execution. Logs of test execution failures for analysis. B. Reporting and feedback. Objective, provide detailed and actionable reports to stakeholders after test executions. Actions, configure reporting tools, e.g., Allure, Extent Reports, to generate detailed test execution reports. Report test results, including test coverage, pass/fail rates, defect trends, and performance metrics. Collaborate with developers and other teams to prioritize and address any issues that arise from test results. Artifacts, test execution reports and logs. Feedback loop documentation. 6. Maintenance and scaling. A. Maintaining the automation framework. Objective, continuously maintain and improve the automation framework. Actions, refactor and optimize test scripts as new features are added or application code changes. Update the automation framework to handle new components or technologies. Conduct periodic reviews of test scripts to ensure relevance and remove obsolete tests. Manage versioning and branching for the automation framework as the project evolves. Artifacts, framework documentation updates. Test case repository updates. B. Scaling the automation efforts. Objective, scale automation to cover more functionality, devices, or platforms. Actions, expand test automation coverage to include additional environments, e.g., cross-browser testing, mobile platforms. Utilize cloud services, e.g., BrowserStack, Sauce Labs, for large-scale parallel execution. Implement load balancing techniques for faster test execution in large test suites. Artifacts, strategy documents for scaling test automation. 7. Post-release support and retrospective. A. Post-release automation monitoring. Objective, continue monitoring the automation suite post-release for any production issues or bugs. Actions, set up post-release automation to continuously monitor production environments, e.g., health checks, monitoring user flows. Analyze any production issues and feed them back into the automation suite to prevent future occurrences. Artifacts, post-release monitoring logs. Retrospective reports with findings. B. Retrospective and continuous improvement. Objective, conduct a project retrospective to evaluate the automation process. Actions, conduct a retrospective with the team to assess what worked, what didn't, and where improvements can be made. Gather metrics from the automation process, test coverage, defect detection, test execution speed, to identify areas for optimization. Document lessons learned and integrate improvements into the automation framework for future projects. Artifacts, retrospective report with insights and improvement plans. Summary of key responsibilities throughout the project. Initial setup, define automation strategy, tools, and framework. Development, implement, script, and integrate automated tests. Execution, run automated tests, monitor results, and collaborate with teams. Optimization, continuously improve and scale automation efforts. Support, post-release monitoring and retrospective. This comprehensive approach ensures a well-organized and highly efficient automation process from project inception to completion, delivering quality software with minimized manual intervention.